Ladies and gentlemen, Hot Pass Podcast. We are back. We are live. Well, if you think about it, not technically live, but that's okay. You know, we were feeling alive watching that damn Xfinity. Well, some of us might, honestly, let's just dial into this. Some of us might have felt a little dead by the end of that 30-minute red flag because of nonsense. But I felt alive because I had Bet still alive, right? And then Sunday, we all felt dead for about 80% of that race. And when that caution came out, some of us, like myself, were like, yes, we're back, baby. We're alive and well. And we won almost 20 units. So about 19 units roughly over the weekend. We'll get into it all. Everything that went on, the Raja and Jesse Love stuff. I should write in my notes before I forget the Hall of Fame stuff. Let's kind of talk about that. Eric Jones was catching strays on Denny Hamlin's podcast this week. Justin Allgaier's on a damn show. It looks like she's pretty good. I knew his pit stops were a little slow in the races at Phoenix, but that explains a lot why Justin Allgaier has lost a lot of spots over the years or whatever at Phoenix. Was because of that TV show. If you guys haven't seen it, I think it's on like the CW Instagram account. They might have posted like a clip. The time of recording this or whatever, I think the show's over, but it was like airing at 8 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Eastern. Anywho, let's get the nonsense out of the way. Hot Pass Podcast. It's your boy Eric. Like, share, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Hot Pass Podcast on YouTube. We pump it out every Tuesday and Friday. Unless I'm at a race, we try and figure it out. We try and get all the editing. We'll come out with episodes early, but that's nonetheless, I digress on that subject. Hot Pass Podcast, leave a comment, like, share, subscribe to the podcast, do all those good things. On your audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever, make sure to leave a 5-star rating. It helps the podcast get out to more people. I would really appreciate that. Every time you guys leave a 5-star rating or a comment on YouTube or like it continues to grow the podcast. So please do that. Even over on my social media platforms, on Instagram, Eric Furlong 21. Go follow me there. An hour before every single truck and O'Reilly Series race, I will post my full betting card. Obviously, you have to listen to the Friday morning betting show to get the full list breakdown of everything and why I'm taking such drivers, and then have to pay attention to my social media after practice and qualifying to be able to see why I'm high on another guy, right? But yeah, so make sure to go follow Eric Furlong 21. We had a viral video again about the Danny Stockman, Raja and Jesse Love video, so go follow me there. Furlong Eric __ on Twitter and TikTok, and make sure to follow me there as well, please. It really helps grow everything about the Hot Pass Podcast. Then go to the Action Network. You guys can see my full betting card before every single race, early bets in the week. Obviously, this coming weekend, we do not have, I think we just have trucks and O'Reilly. It's Easter this week, and so happy Easter to everybody. The show will be on a regular scheduled program. It'll come out Friday morning on Good Friday. So when you guys are hanging out with your family for Easter, maybe put it on the TV in the background. Be like, that's my boy Eric. He's got the insight for the truck race and the O'Reilly Series race. And maybe get him into NASCAR. Maybe a little sprinkle of gambling, get the family together and bet on some races. How about that, huh? I think that's a great idea. To be honest, I have my dad sweating out, not sweating out bets. My dad doesn't gamble, but he'll sweat out with me. He'll be like, oh my God, son, you're going to kill it. Oh, you're not going to kill it. Oh, you're going to kill it again. That's what it felt like with the race at Martinsville this past Sunday. Yeah, so go follow me on the Action Network. But I have to be honest, let's start off at the top here. The Action Network this weekend, I had Ryan Preece top 10. Deleted that, like cashed that out. I actually broke it out even. I did not like his practice speeds. But I was going over to my grandpa's place. This is the explanation I want to explain if you guys follow me on social media. I won a bunch of money, about a little over 15 units in the Cup Series race. Now, I will say that 10 minutes before the race, I already had Chase Elliott top 5 at plus 120, William Byron at plus 150 for a top 5, Ryan Preece top 10, and then Josh Berry outright. 10 minutes before the race started, I was sitting outside of my grandpa's house. He has terminal cancer. So we went over to go visit him. My sister was there. My brother-in-law was there. And I'm sitting in my car. I'm like, I really want to take Chase, William Byron, and Joey Logano to be able to win the race. I said, I was sitting there waiting around, looking for Joey Logano lines, and it got bet down. I did listen to Chris Wormey's stuff that Joey Logano was really fast. And I saw that in practice as well. But I listened to Chris because he was one of the people that were heavily betting down the numbers on Joey Logano. And I was like, man, I don't like the 10-1 number. If I find 11 or 12, I'll bet on it. But the thing is I think this is how it works with Action Network. If you don't subscribe to the Action Network and like actually pay, there's a 30-minute buffer from the time that you put the bet in, until you actually get the notification to your phone. So I decided not to put it in because you guys wouldn't have had the opportunity to be able to take that bet. So I always put all of my info, whether I take a bet a few minutes before the race or live, I usually just put it at the end of the race and keep it for my books, right? Because the Action Network is just easy for me. I have all my data points for the Truck Series and O'Reilly Series in my laptop. So I took Joey Logano 11-1. It says live, but it was before the race. And then I took William Byron at plus 850 and then Chase Elliott at plus 850. And then I was like, man, I don't believe I cashed out Ryan Preece. Was it? Yeah, it was Ryan Preece. Kept obviously the Chase Briscoe. I think I had Chase Briscoe on there as well. I can't remember. No, it was Josh Berry. Josh Berry at 65-1. I kept that. I was like, that was ultimate value. So we'll just hold on to that. If he wins, he wins. But I didn't like his practice speeds either. And then I was like, Joey Logano, plus 325 for top Ford. I was like, man, I honestly feel like Cindric shocked me. I won't lie. Cindric shocked the hell out of me. I was a little nervous, squeaky bum cheeks, but I took to him top 4 because I was like, it's going to be between Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney. And I was like, if anything, Ryan Blaney's pit crew had a good solid day. But I was like, with everything going on with that pit crew, and they didn't make changes, I was like, I'll bet against their pit crew. And I was like, I think it's just going to be Joey Logano and him. So I was like, all right, I'll take Joey Logano. And luckily at the end of the race, Denny gets into Ryan Blaney and then kind of just screws the end of the race for him. And I honestly forgot about it when I made my video on social media about my reaction of winning all that money. And so that cashed. The one that I have to give props to calling it out, and I hunted for this, was Highline Betting, and then Rory or whatever, their live show. Somebody put in the chat there. I always just kind of dabble into whoever's doing a live show or whatever. Some people do live shows the day of the race. So I listened to it, and I heard them say there's a line out there of Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon. It was a group. Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, and Daniel Suarez. So for a while there, before I left the house, that was the last bet I was really looking at. I hunted for it. It was on Bet99. I didn't label it on the Action Network because it's not available. Like the book itself is not available on the Action Network to put it on there. So that was on Bet99. So I saw that and I went, well, man, dude, Kyle Busch is butt cheeks right now. Austin Dillon, like, if this goes green, which I expected it to, and that's exactly what happened, those guys are going to be down 2 laps so fast, down a lap so fast as well, which is exactly what happened, that it's going to be between Daniel Suarez and Eric Jones. And Eric Jones qualified just ahead of Daniel Suarez by like 2 spots. Eric Jones had an all right day for the most part. His history here has been up and down, like in a lot more downs than ups. And Daniel Suarez, actually, in recent years, if you look at his finishes, have been half decent. A lot of them inside the top 20. And I said, well, with the speed that Spires had and the role that Daniel Suarez is on, I said, I'll take Daniel Suarez. Honestly, you could have took Eric Jones. And in hindsight, Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez should have been the bet. They were both at plus 525. Where Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch were at like plus 130 or plus 120 or something to win the group or whatever it was. So I was like, that's insane to me. So in hindsight, should have just took Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez to make it a lot easier. But at the end of the race there, Eric Jones doesn't catch the lucky dog. Daniel Suarez does. And I go, thank God. Well, then the caution comes out when Bubba turns Carson Hocevar. And Bubba comes down and kind of clips Eric Jones. And I'm like, yes, he's going to be in the wreck. Maybe it was a tap. So I was like, it's not going to be enough to take him out of the race, but maybe there's a little bit more damage. I was really looking at Eric Jones' car to see if they would do like a close-up on his car. Never did. Somehow, even being involved in that, he gets the lucky dog. And I went, fuck. And they're right behind each other. So the last 40 laps or whatever, I am watching. Because even Daniel Suarez was right behind Bubba, or a car behind Bubba or two. And he had a bit of nose damage. So I was sitting there like, oh my God, this is going to be I was sweating the Chase Elliott top fives, the William Byron top fives, the outright. Didn't even remember the Joey Logano one. So I'm sweating those out. But at the same time, I am looking. And honestly, it's a lot of fun to bet these groups. Because you're looking, it's not just the front of the field. You're looking farther back. So it's like the shit boxes. And so I'm watching Chase Elliott try and fend off Denny for so long. And at the same time, I'm looking like, yo, where is Eric Jones? Where's Daniel Suarez? And they are right on each other the whole time. Luckily, Eric Jones just like minds, but he's like, you know what? We didn't get caught in that wreck. We're going to finish 20th or 21st or whatever. Let's just ride this out. It doesn't cover Daniel Suarez. So that's what made it an even bigger day. Honestly, let's kind of go into this, and then the rest of the Cup Series stuff, we'll go over the O'Reilly Series stuff, and I really have a heavy take on Martinsville and the O'Reilly Series. That race was horrible. Even after the race, Harris Liu sent me a photo of, I've never been to Martinsville. So some of you may have, and it might be one of those tracks that you guys are like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like we've sat in this, but like the parking lot alone just makes you not want to go to Martinsville. But then when the racing is the way it is, and then you got to go sit out in the parking lot for an hour or two trying to leave this damn track, makes it even worse. We've had the only reason why Martinsville has gotten high praise the last maybe 2 or 3 races, maybe I'd say the last 2, is because you've had guys be able to go through the field, for example, i.e. Ryan Blaney. So it's made it kind of interesting. But Sunday, you could not pass. We'll continuously say it's like Kyle Larson at Bristol. Did an ass whooping. You can't pass. So even with the 750 horsepower, which, yeah, we all got behind it. A lot of us got behind it at least. And the tire, and I honestly think it was because it was so cold. We didn't get the tire fall off that we wanted. And everybody's falling off basically the same. And then clean air is king. And I heard on the teardown that Denny Hamlin had a bit of a loose either left or right tire slightly, or they thought they had a tire going down. So that's why he was getting loose off. But honestly, the whole time I'm like, Chase Elliott has this, unless something happens in traffic, which honestly, remember this, Carson Hocevar, that making friends and at least being nice to people on the track is probably going to pay dividends to you like late in the race here, where Chase seems to be nice to everybody for the most part, as far as we all know, or at least cordial, and everybody kind of moved out of the way. Even the Fords, even John Hunter Nemechek, in the Yoda. So, at the end of the race, I was like, Chase is going to get this done. It's just a matter of a caution coming out or not, So, clean air is king. It will continue to be at Martinsville, I think, for a while, unless you get hot weather. Same with Bristol, Richmond, I think, unless you're Austin Dillon. So it is really upsetting. I think there's a lot of work to do. And I was talking to my apprentice about the chemicals and stuff that they had to take out of Goodyear over the last, like a while ago or whatever, to make it more environmentally friendly. Cause I think some chemicals got banned. It's going to be a continuous battle. I mean, at least we're not F1, right? The issues they're having with F1 isn't just tires. It is the whole damn car. I guess we could say the same thing. It's the whole damn car at short tracks. But when we do get hot weather, we have good racing. So, just when you go to these short tracks, just pray for hot weather, and we're going to maybe have some good racing. But I would recommend not going there. If anybody said that was a good race, they're probably a Chase Elliott fan or they won a lot of money, and I still voted on Jeff Gluck's poll no. Because you cannot tell me that was a good race. Some people will be like, there'll be a casual and they'll say like, oh, well, it was an ass whooping. It's like, man, honestly, there was a lot of good cars you saw in practice. Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, William Byron Chase. I'm a Hendrick hater, all right? But you have to admit, in practice, those guys were insanely fast. And good on Ty Gibbs. We got to give Ty Gibbs a shout out here too. Looked half decent in practice, qualified well, and stayed where he was, right? Even was running second at times. Who else could come to mind that had, some good speed? Ryan Preece and stuff looked okay. I wouldn't necessarily say he was great. That's for damn sure, but he looked okay. And Chase Briscoe, man, honestly, he looked kind of off in practice as well, and just qualifying horribly. They got to figure that shit out. You think Chase Briscoe and Stuart Haas was doing better than Joe Gibbs' car at Martinsville is crazy to me. But yeah, man, it's just the racing was horrible. The on-track stuff, I could talk briefly about the Bubba Wallace stuff. I did see somebody online talk about how like Bubba never gassed up when running through Carson Hocevar. Could he have probably? I'm a Bubba Wallace fan. I obviously, if you guys are watching the podcast on YouTube, I brought in my 1 of 84 Bubba Wallace Grimace car. Doesn't have all the stuff up on the sides. It's like the color chrome one. And I honestly love this. I don't buy a lot of 124 diecast. I've got like a Jeff Gordon one with the Phantom Menace Star Wars paint scheme. I've got a 1/18 Small Soldiers Bobby Labonte car I could put up here if you guys want that up there for a podcast or two. I could put that up here. Takes up a lot of the desk. And when I move, I'm probably going to get a new desk, guys. By the way, I'm going to get like a full, like a good desk so then I can get a sim and then have that and then maybe do some live streams and me sim racing, trying to learn from basic all the way to maybe that could be like a YouTube video or series or whatever, is me slowly being able to learn and get higher up in class on iRacing and working on it. I think that would be a great idea. But yeah, then I've got the Sam Mayer car and then the Dale Jr. one you guys always see. But other than that, I don't really collect a lot. But I'll talk about Bubba's, so I'm biased on the Bubba stuff is I will say, like, it was stupid. I honestly think, he fell from, second or fourth? No, not second, because he fell a little bit. So he was like, fourth maybe, roughly, around in points. Technically, he's fell, 11 spots in the weekend, but he's tied with, he dropped, 8 spots, but he's sitting in 11th. But he's tied with, a bunch of people for 8th or something like that, or 7th, if I'm not mistaken. So could you have let up? You were rolling the center. Could you have braked a little bit? Maybe you get turned around if you hit the brakes. It's one of those moments where I can't really say much because I probably would have done the same thing. You hope that he spins one way and not the other and you don't get wrecked, and he does. There's I saw online, there's nobody more deserving than Carson Hocevar to get turned around, So was it that time where you probably should have just ran around and you're not having a good day and just finished the day and now you're finishing almost dead last? Should you just mind your P's and Q's and just let it go green? Maybe. But a lot of us, I think, in that situation, seeing what Hocevar has done in the past and has driven you like a piece of shit, maybe you would. I just think you gotta get your head together, because what are the next few races, man? What are the next few races? Schedule. Let's go here. Look at all that Reddick dubs. Bristol, Kansas, he should be good. Talladega, you could get wrecked out in that. Then you go to Texas, he might be okay. But then you go to Watkins Glen. Road course, might get a top 10. Shout out to that. Dover, I don't know how good he is. Then you go to Maytu for it. So there's a few handful of races that he's not necessarily always good at Bristol. I call him very average at Bristol. Talladega is a toss-up. And then you got Watkins Glen. That's like a really heavy toss-up for him. You've got, in the next 5 races, you've got Kansas and Texas that you could perform. Other than that, you really got to maintain these points and just finish the race. But after these 2 races, Bubba's really got to figure this out, because if he goes to Talladega and wrecks again, he's going to start falling in points, man. Luckily, he's pretty good at Talladega, but we already know how all that goes. Other than that, yeah, congrats to Chase Elliott. Big dub. Great call by Alan Gustafson. I have to give him their flowers. Consistency, pit strategy, eventually leads to wins. So, yeah, really happy for them. Good bounce back for Joey. We all talked about that. Everybody's talked about that. Good bounce back. We knew the Penske car. Dude, everybody's like, yo, Darlington, what with Penske? Dude, you know when you come to a short track, Penske's going to be good. Like, don't ever think about a mile and a half of Darlington or Kansas. Say you got Richmond or Martinsville right after Kansas, and the guy was horrible in Kansas. I don't care until the Penske guys show up and run horribly. Every single time they should be on your betting card, at least one of them, if not both. Like the 2 of them, Blaney and Logano. So good bounce back for him. Let's go through the top 10 here. Ryan Blaney kind of finished. I mean, Christopher Bell was running kind of poopy for a while and then kind of just hung out inside the top 10 all day. Cindric, good on him. Top 10, that's solid, man. Kyle Larson. I think Chris Wormy said it on his show that, like, and I agree. Kyle Larson's not the best at Martinsville, man, and we've all seen it at this point. You look at his record; it's just not good. In the Gen 7, but Josh Berry, top 10 it. Shout out. Good day. The Penske guys in general and the Penske motors, Roush Motors, always going to be good there. SVG, holy moly, boy, let me tell you. Ryan Priest, 12. Chase Briscoe finished 14th, so not like horrible. Could have been a lot worse. See where Hocevar finished 17th? Bubba all the way down here in 36th. I have to be critical of my boy Bubba. Golly. Noah Gragson finished ahead of you, brother. What the hell? Ricky Stenhouse, Cole Custer. Fucking A. Anything else happened in that race? The Buescher stuff, that kind of sucks, huh? Took you out of the race super early on. Still finished 19th. And Bubba finished 36th. I think it was like a lug nut, they said, like super early on. Took him out of the contention to do really anything in that race because they blew a tire or something, got cut down. So that kind of sucks. But yeah, that was that race. We won a bag. Shout out. Saturday, the O'Reilly Series race. Good race. Good race until it wasn't, We won by like a 3.96 units, so almost 4 units, roughly. So, good day. We had Sammy Smith top 5. We had Sammy Smith outright, Carson Kvapil outright. We had Sheldon Creed top 5 at plus 220. We had Sammy Smith at plus 180 for a top 5. That is a great number, and keep taking Sammy Smith top 5 every time you go to Martinsville. Take him outright every damn time. The fact that he had numbers out there at 11-1 and shit during the week, 10-1 during the week, is disgusting because of how good he runs there. If it wasn't for Allgaier, he very well could have won that race. Imagine when Allgaier retires, though. Like, there's going to be a lot of wins of these guys that are like, first off, who goes to the 7? Because that's a legendary car at this point with Justin Allgaier driving it. Would be a great seat, like a great opportunity. Noah Gragson comes back down. Justin Allgaier retires at some point. Noah Gragson comes down, drives that. That would be fucking crazy. But I digress on that point. But Justin Allgaier or whatever, like when he retires, there's gonna be a lot of wins open up for a lot of guys. It's gonna be a lot more parity, I think, unless somebody really comes along and dominates again. Like if Noah Gragson is done in the Cup Series and comes down and he just starts winning a bunch of races or whatever. Crazy to me. So crazy to me that like Joe Gibbs cannot figure out the O'Reilly Series race. Like the races, like those cars are just, The thing is you had Eric Almirola down there, so it would like perform well. But you have all these guys who are just a mixed match of mangled young guys, and then Brandon Jones that don't know really what they're doing. So it's a little disappointing to see how they run, but wish Corey Heim would not have that bullshit with Ty Gibbs so he could run in those cars, because let me tell you, we'd all get spanked. We'd all be betting fucking Corey Heim every damn weekend, wouldn't we? Because William Sawalich, boy, oh boy, he's losing that ride for sure, unless that money keeps coming in. But then he'll be in like a junior motorsports car or something. God help us. Yeah, so then Carson Kvapil, I had him top 5 at even money. Man, honestly, like a really good race. Really enjoyed it. And then, the cautions start coming out and people start wrecking each other, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. And it's like, it's not even win and get in at this point, and people, like, the guys are still wrecking each other. And I'll say the take of, I think we honestly got to put our foot down and say, like, if you turn somebody, be like the Cars Tour. Okay, either we only come here once a year in the fall, because honestly, like, I can't handle this shit. Like, they took the Truck Series race away. They're not going to do this because you need something on Saturdays for the weekend and not just have Cup Series on Sunday. But I think you got to start doing, if you touch a guy, you're the main guy that causes the wreck or like turns a guy, you go to the back. We've got to figure this out at Martinsville. Honestly, this is getting ridiculous and it's tough to watch. A lot of guys just getting into each other, turning each other. I understand hard racing. I love hard racing. The Jesse Love and Raja stuff, love it. Get into each other, creates parity. You never really see Raja really in those mixes with guys, right? And I love the hostility. It's NASCAR. That's how it's supposed to be. But every time we come here, pretty much, it is a wreck fest. And honestly, like, Lee Pulliam did a great job. I think he got top 5, or what? I think he did. Let me just double check. Yeah, he got 5th place. So, like, I don't hate it for Lee Pulliam, and like I said on my social media, I can't really say anything about Lee Pulliam missing a shift. A lot of people are saying he shouldn't have been in it and all that stuff. He's unreal. If Dale Jr.'s backing him, Dale Jr. ain't a dumb guy, obviously, right? He knows talent. The guy finished 5th in his first or his debut race in the O'Reilly Series. Would love to see him come back, right? If they can get the sponsorship together, unreal. Could have won that race at a time. And to miss a shift, I go, dude, I probably would have done it. So I'm not going to say nothing. And he's a million times better than me. Has thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of hours on track. So I can't really say much about that. It sucks that it get all wadded up. But guys were wadding each other up, and we've seen all that shit just happen from guys wrecking each other before. So I'm not even going to be harping on Lee Pulliam this podcast. I think it's just like a matter of like, it was all the other shit before of guys wrecking each other and turning each other. And then on top of that, Lee Pulliam misses a shift and then stacks up the field on top of that. And you get a 30-minute red flag. And in that 30 minutes, everybody's got to sit and stew on social media about him. It's just a bad combination. But I really do think that Martinsville has just kind of run its course in the spring here, because it seems like in the fall, hopefully, with the fall and not having to win and get into the championship, that it's a little bit more calmed down. But I feel like if we don't have one of those big moments where Sammy Smith gets into Taylor Gray, like, we just kind of moved on. I think it's a little rough to watch at this point. So if you bet on and you made money, congratulations. Listen to the Hot Pass podcast. If you lost money, I've been there too. I have been there multiple times, over and over and over again. I talked about it on Friday and the Saturday. That's when the podcast came out, because I was having it came out on Friday afternoon, but I was having uploading issues. But I've been on that side where I said I had Caden Honeycutt and Ty Majeski to win the race at the end of the truck race last year in the spring, and Ty Majeski misses a shift or a downshift and fucking just wrecks both of them. And I think Daniel Hemrick won the race. So I've been there. So I'll brag and go like, yeah, I won a fuck ton of money, and it felt good. The Cup Series one, it's like I'll brag about it because like we hit, but I'll also say that like I apologize at the top of the program. It's like I didn't have all those on my card before the race on Action Network. So I'll own when I was wrong and all that stuff, but like that O'Reilly Series race, I was dead on, bang on with a lot of guys. Those guys that I won money on. It sucks for Quapple being right behind Lee Pulliam, but I had those guys up front, and they were inside the top 5, and Sammy Smith was there. We also got to give our flowers to Corey Day. I'll be here, I'll be the first one to say it. I said it on social media. Got to give him his flowers. He's done really well. I called him out to be like, you're a dumbass because you're wrecking everybody. He's still giving smart aleck comments and horrible interviews. Like he's got he really needs to get some PR through his brain. But he's just racing clean. Now he raced Justin Allgaier kind of hard there near the end, but yeah, like that's Martinsville. So I don't harp on that. But I thought he was going to wreck Justin Allgaier. If he got to him, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, this could get bad. But, fair play to Corey Day. He raced really well, finished second. I think he could win a race. He's being consistent enough where he's putting himself in position that if something happens to Allgaier, because Allgaier's just dominating everybody, but if something happens, he could win the race. Or just completely outright. So I think it's at this time that we're going to have to start really taking Corey Day for top 5s and stuff on the betting market and just ride with him. Like I feel like he'll be top 10 at Bristol. He'll probably be top 10 again this weekend at Rockingham. So Corey Day, man, really figuring it out, coming to his own. I think by the end of the year, we'll be saying and singing a lot of praises about Corey Day. So I love that. I love that for him. Austin Hill, fucking figure. Dean Thompson, top 10. Shout out. Ryan Sieg, top 10. Brent Cruz, top 10. Yeah, Ross Chastain, top 10, whatever. We did not get top 10 odds this weekend, and I really wanted to bet on guys like Ross. Like what Ross would have been short. They had him like super short for odds, but I would have bet guys like a Dean Thompson after practice, a Brendan Poole. He finished 14th. Like low, super long shots are always fun. Definitely with these guys that get in a lot of wrecks. Nick Sanchez with a damn bowling ball out there, wasn't he? And once again, I'm not even keeping score anymore. Patrick Starpoli is much better than that 25. It's only because Nick Sanchez is driving in the 25, and it's honestly embarrassing at this point that 25, like Nick Sanchez is even in that 25. I hope that he gets like a junior motorsports ride or an open Joe Gibbs car next year or something like that, because it is embarrassing that he has to be with that talent that he has. He has to drive in that shitty car, man. It is so sad. I would have rather, or just drop down to the truck series and race in the truck series and win some races again, man, because it's honestly sad to see him riding around in that piece of crap. And that's going to be a long year, but it hardens a man. Okay. Anywho, that is the podcast. We'll shut it down there. We've got the Truck Series and O'Reilly Series this weekend at Rockingham. I just want to make sure. It is Rockingham at 2:30 on Saturday, so I would probably say around 3 o'clock, green flag. Truck Series, is that Saturday? Friday. Ooh, Friday at 4:30? That's interesting. Oh, yeah, because everybody's got holidays. So, going to be interesting. This is the weekend where it's Cletus is racing. I expect him to just make it to the end of the race, hopefully. Don't crash and be down a few laps. Just do that. Just do that and get the laps, man. But yeah, we'll end the podcast here. Friday is the Friday morning betting show, so I know everybody tunes in mainly for that show. Make sure to go like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Hit the notification bell so when the podcast gets uploaded, you guys get notified whenever it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys go and subscribe. We've hit 125 subscribers now, so let's continue to grow the podcast. I'd really appreciate that. Go follow my social media on Instagram, Eric Furlong 21. And then Furlong Eric __ on TikTok and X/Twitter. An hour before every single truck and O'Reilly Series race, I will post my full betting card. Make sure to tune into the Hot Pass Podcast betting show every single Friday to get my full betting breakdown. So you guys can get early lines as well. Sometimes I put those out on my social medias of like a juicy line that I really, really like, or a tasty line that I really, really like super early on in the week, or a guy that is sitting out there with a nice line that I was like, well, he could be a sneaky play. Sometimes I'll put those out on there. Instagram is usually where I'm posting a lot on my Instagram stories. I'm being very vocal on there, so make sure to go follow me there. That's very important. And then go to the Action Network. Link is in the bio wherever you find me. You can see all my Cup Series plays. Bristol in 2 weeks, so shouts out. And then leave a 5-star rating wherever you get your audio podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever. It helps grow the podcast. I appreciate you guys. Bubba Wallace, let's get our head out of our ass. Let's figure this out. Oh, I didn't even talk about what's his nuts. The Jesse Love and Raja stuff. Should I leave it till Friday? Let me make a note and I'll break it down, because we had Danny Stockman actually comment and follow me on Instagram after my video that I posted. Ripping Danny Stockman. So shout out to him for being a good sport about it. He knows that we all get a little heated, and we all love racing. You guys know me well enough that I get the same way. When something crazy happens, you'll see me on social media losing my damn mind. So shout out to him for being a good sport, but we'll talk about that on Friday. I'll put a note, remind me, but I'll put a note for the Friday show. That'll be the first thing we talk about, and then we'll get into the bets and everything, since we're going to be talking about the O'Reilly Series, all right? And we're probably going to have to talk about Jesse Love anyways, because he's probably going to be a heavy favorite going into this race, since he was so good last year. I think this is the race where Sammy Smith won, but Jesse Love, because Jesse Love got DQ'd. So just remember that going into this weekend. All right. Hot Pass Podcast. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Go Detroit Tigers. We're going to win the World Series this year. I love you guys. We'll talk to you on Friday. Peace.